What if I told you that in medieval France, a queen, left to govern alone with a child king, faced down a nationwide rebellion, not with a vast army, but with sheer courage and the loyalty of ordinary citizens? Imagine waking up in Paris, 1226, the whispers of war on every street, the throne threatened, and only one formidable woman standing between order and utter chaos. The autumn wind bit hard at the cobbled streets of Paris in 1226, carrying not just the scent of wood smoke but the chill of foreboding. King Louis VIII, a monarch barely in his late 30s, had succumbed to dysentery during a campaign, leaving behind a kingdom teetering on the brink. His heir, Louis IX, was a boy of 12. And ruling in his stead? His mother, Blanche of Castile, a Spanish-born Queen Regent, formidable and fiercely intelligent, but, in the eyes of many French barons, a foreign woman with no true right to command them. The great feudal lords of France, ever eager to reclaim the power diminished by strong Capetian kings, saw their chance. Hugh X of Lusignan, Pierre Mauclerc of Brittany, Theobald IV of Champagne, these powerful men, often distant cousins of the royal line, began to stir. They nursed old grievances, saw the young king as weak, and the regent as vulnerable. Whispers of a grand conspiracy grew into open defiance, then into a full-blown rebellion. Their objective: seize control of the boy king, undermine Blanche's authority, and carve France into a patchwork of autonomous fiefdoms once more. Blanche, cloistered within the Louvre Palace, was no stranger to political machinations. She had been observing these wolves gather for months, even before her husband's death. But the speed and scale of their rebellion caught even her by surprise. Messengers, their horses lathered and gasping, brought news of vast baronial armies assembling, cutting off roads, pillaging loyalist lands. Paris itself, the heart of the kingdom, was becoming isolated. The city, normally a vibrant tapestry of merchants, scholars, and artisans, grew hushed, the markets emptying, eyes nervously scanning the horizon. Many courtiers, seeing the overwhelming odds, began to abandon the Louvre, their loyalty as thin as the winter ice on the Seine. But Blanche was not one to break. She held her young son close, her gaze steel, her resolve unyielding. She knew a military confrontation was suicidal. The royal domain army was small, scattered, and unready. She had to buy time, to divide her enemies, to appeal to something deeper than feudal allegiance. She dispatched urgent letters, weaving a delicate web of diplomacy, promising concessions here, threatening retribution there. Yet, the barons, confident in their strength, pressed their advantage. The breaking point came when the rebels, led by Hugh of Lusignan, announced their intention to march on Montlhéry, a key strategic fortress just south of Paris. Not only did Montlhéry control crucial supply routes, but it was also the intended path for Blanche to meet up with what meager reinforcements she could muster from the Loire Valley. If Montlhéry fell, Paris would be truly isolated, ripe for siege. This was no longer just a political chess game, it was a race against time, a desperate gambit for the very survival of the crown. But before we continue, if you're enjoying this tale of medieval defiance and cunning, smash that subscribe button. We bring you stories like this every single day. Blanche made a decision that shocked even her loyal advisors. She would ride out to Montlhéry herself, with her young son, Louis IX, in tow. Not to fight a battle, but to show herself, to embody the threatened royalty, and to use her wits. The plan was audacious, bordering on reckless. The royal convoy, small and lightly guarded, set out from Paris, Blanche, regal in her somber traveling clothes, riding beside her bewildered son. The road to Montlhéry was a dusty, narrow track, winding through forests and open fields. As they approached the town, the air grew thick with tension. Scouts reported enemy banners on the hills ahead. The rebels, assuming Blanche would remain behind palace walls, had not expected her to expose herself so openly. Their surprise quickly turned to predatory glee. Hugh of Lusignan's forces began to encircle the royal convoy, jeering, their swords glinting in the pale afternoon sun. Panic erupted amongst Blanche's small escort. Royal guards formed a desperate ring around the queen and the young king, their faces grim. Blanche, however, remained outwardly calm. She dismounted, taking Louis by the hand, and stood in the middle of the road, facing the advancing rebel knights. Her clear, strong voice cut through the rising clamor. "Do you truly intend to lay hands on your king? On your queen regent? Do you truly wish to see France torn apart by civil war?" Her audacious stand, the sight of the boy king, the moral weight of their oaths, it gave the rebel leaders pause. They had expected an easy target, not a defiant queen who would shame them on the battlefield itself. While they hesitated, a new sound began to rumble from behind Blanche. Dust rose on the road leading from Paris. Not an army, but a torrent of ordinary citizens. Word of Blanche's daring journey had reached the streets of Paris. The common folk, often forgotten in the squabbles of lords, felt a deep loyalty to their young king and feared the chaos of baronial rule. They had grabbed whatever they could, pitchforks, clubs, old rusty swords, even stones, and poured out of the city gates, following their queen. A wave of humanity, thousands strong, surged forward, their shouts of "Long live the king! Long live the queen!" echoing across the fields. This wasn't a military force, but it was an undeniable, visceral show of support. It was the heart of France, laid bare. The rebel barons, confronted not by royal knights but by their own terrified subjects, were stunned. They had no quarrel with these commoners, nor the stomach to slaughter them en masse. And the sight of their queen, unflinching before their might, surrounded by her devoted people, was a powerful rebuke. With their grand show of force undermined, and their moral authority challenged, the barons hesitated, then slowly, grudgingly, began to withdraw. The standoff was over. Blanche of Castile, by her sheer courage and an unexpected outpouring of popular support, had averted a catastrophic civil war. She had not only secured Montelheri but had shown the powerful lords of France that the throne, even with a child upon it, was not to be trifled with. Her regency, forged in defiance, would